Today we continue to listen Anattalakkhana Sutta. First, we have to recite Anattalakkhana Sutta Pali, Vedana and Sinya. Vedana and Sinya, we have to recite slowly together. Vedana Bhagave Nata Vena Jahida Bhagave Atta Abhavesa Naira Vedana Abadaya Samviteya Labetacha Vedanaya Evo Me Vedana Hotu Evo Me Vedana Mahasiti Yazamacha Ko Bhagave Vedana Nata Tasama Vedana Vadaya Samvitati Nacha Lavati Vedanaya Ome Vedana Hotu Evo Me Vedana Mahasiti Sinya Bhagave Nata Sinya Jahidam Bhagave Atta Abhavesa Naira Sinya Abadaya Samviteya Labetacha Sinyaya Evo Me Sinya Hotu Evo Me Sinya Mahasiti Yazamacha Ko Bhagave Sinya Nata Tasama Sinya Vadaya Samvitati Nacha Lavati Sinyaya Evo Me Sinya Hotu Evo Me Sinya Mahasiti. English translation, we read together. Monks, so all living entity, monks, if feeling was safe, it would not tend to afflict or distress. And it would also be possible to say, let my feeling be thus, let my feeling not be thus. In fact, feeling is not safe. Since it is not safe, it tends to afflict and distress, and it is possible to say of feeling, let it be thus, let it not be thus. Vedana is not safe. How do we understand? How can we accept? Every arising feeling have to be noted. And if you see every arising feeling coming and going, appearing and disappearing, you can see the anatta. So yogi clearly see the non-self nature of feeling, because every time you watch, you see the disappearing on each occasion of your noting. In the initial stage of your meditation, you suffer from physical pain or stiffness, itching or feeling hot. Occasionally you suffer also mental distress or disappointment, discouraged, disliking, upset, etc. Keep on noting these unpleasant feelings dukkha vedana, you come to know that these unpleasant feelings are manifesting, and there is no pleasant sensation, no good sensation at that moment. And your concentration and mindfulness getting strengthened, and you feel pleasant sensation, both physical and mental, arising in you. A yogi should keep on noting these pleasant feelings as they arise. A yogi understands that while pleasant feelings are manifesting themselves, there is no dukkha vedana, no unpleasant feeling, no bad sensation at all. Sometimes neutral, equanimous feeling arises, and both painful feeling and pleasurable feeling are absent at that moment. With your personal knowledge, you realize feeling is that which makes a momentary appearance, only to vanish away soon. So it is transitory. Feeling is not self. Vedana is not ego, which is to be regarded as permanent. So here at this juncture, we have to put in Anattalakkhana Sutta in our discourse, as it provides good illustration of how such realization comes about. And first, we must begin with an account of how Venerable Sariputra, Venerable Mahamoggallana, who was chiefly concerned with Anattalakkhana Sutta. Two young men, Upadesa and Kolita, they were later to become known as Venerable Sariputra and Venerable Mahamoggallana. They became wandering ascetics under the great teacher Sanjaya, because they are looking for aging, undying, undecaying. They don't want to have aging, sickness, and death. They learn all that had to be taught them by the teacher Sanjaya in a few days' time. And they came to realize that there was no substance in the teaching of Sanjaya. Consequently, the two of them left the great teacher Sanjaya, roam about the entire middle country in search of truth. Finding the truth nowhere, they came back to Rajagaha. In the city, Upadesa came upon Venerable Asiji, the youngest member of Pinjavagiya, 5 bhikkhus, while he was going on unsound. Venerable Asiji had eradicated all kinds of kilesa, mental defilements. So he had been very peaceful and graceful. And Upadesa found Venerable Asiji physical gesture to be very gentle and elegant. Arahant's bodily gesture are always perfectly graceful. They naturally behave graceful and elegant, whether going forward or backward, looking ahead or aside, because they always act mindfully. Sampasanya. Now here, 2 months intensive retreat. All Vipassana meditators here behave with mindfulness and clear comprehension always. All yogis are gentle, graceful, and elegant because of their always mindful and clear comprehending. A meditator without mindfulness cannot be as elegant. Other people can easily realize this yogi acting without mindfulness. So other people know this. Venerable Asiji as an Arhan was fully endowed with mindfulness and clear comprehension. No wonder he was very elegant in physical gesture, whether going forward or backward, looking ahead or aside, bending, stretching his limbs, and so on. Ascetic Upatissa had never seen such an elegant person before, so he was fully convinced if there is anyone on earth to be endowed with noble Dhamma, that must be this monk. Upatissa totally believed Venerable Asiji to be a noble person who had attained the noble Dhamma. So he felt greatly inspired to learn about Venerable Asiji, who he was, who his preceptor was, and under whose guidance he had practiced. But he knew that it was not right time to ask question in this moment, because Venerable Asiji was stay on the alms round. It was very considerate of him to wait for the right time to ask question. So he just kept trailing Venerable Asiji. Then they reached a suitable place. Then Upadisa knew that Venerable Asiji was about to eat his meal before noon. So as Upadisa spread his leather rack for Venerable Asiji and offered him water he brought along with him. So these behavior are some of the duties a pupil is supposed to do for his teacher. So only when Venerable Asiji finishes lunch, he asks question. Pandey, your appearance is very elegant and impressive. Under whose guidance have you ordained? Upatissa asked. Venerable Asiji replied, I have ordained under the guidance of His Holiness Gautama, who renounced his majestic life of Sakya clan and practiced meditation until he became the fully enlightened Buddha. The one who was fully enlightened along with omniscience. And Upatissa asks, Bande, what does your teacher Gautama teach you? He asked. Then Venerable Asiji considered that an ascetic like this was most likely to argue irrationally against the holy teaching. So Venerable Asiji, with intention to show how profound the teaching of the Buddha was, so he replied in a very humble manner. My friend, I ordained just recently and I cannot talk much about my teacher's doctrine. In reality, Venerable Asiji is a fully enlightened Arahant, was surely capable of teaching the Dhamma. Yet it is also true that he ordained just recently because he had been an ordained monk for about 6 months and a half. From the full moon day of July to the new moon day of January, only just 6 months and a half. So that is why Venerable Asiji said that he had recently ordained and was not capable of talking much about the Buddha's doctrine. Then Upadisa said, Apanwa Bahonwa Basatu Atanyeva me Byuhi Ateniwa me Ato King Kahasi Binjanam Bahom. Please talk a little or a lot. Teach me only what is meaningful. All I need is the meaning. What am I to do with extensive words? Upadisa said. So Upadisa asked Venerable Asiji to talk a little or as much as he wanted. but talk only what is meaningful and insightful, but it would not be necessary to be elegant or articulate by using flowery and high-flown words. Just he needs the meaning of the doctrine. So what important is the meaning, not the words. A real Dhamma practitioner, a real Dhamma seeker only cares about how meaningful and insightful a talk really is, but not how beautiful the words are there in the talk. Some people, when they read books, care very much about how beautifully the words are used and how elegantly the presentation is made, rather than how clearly the point is made. They would not like a talk unless stated elegantly, even though it is really meaningful and insightful. Such people listening to a Dhamma talk enjoy pleasant recitation and beautiful words and phrases, which are just delightful but not really insightful. What is important? The important is to learn from a Dhamma talk how to practice correctly. That is, how to undertake the moral conduct, how to develop concentration, and how to cultivate wisdom. That is important. That is why Upadesa said to Venerable Asiji, Bande, please talk a bit or a lot. Teach me only what is meaningful. All I need is the meaning. What am I to do with extensive words? So Venerable Asiji delivered him a brief but very profound sermon. So you have paper, page number one, Yeda Mahetu Bhava, Desahitung, Tatagato Aha, Desinchayo Nidoro, Ewan Wadi Masamano. Can you follow me? Yeda Mahetu Bhava, Desahitung, Tatagato Aha, Desinchayo Nidoro. Ewan Wadi Masamano. Phenomena have their origin in causes. Tathagata teaches the causes and cessations of them. This is a doctrine the great sage teaches. So very meaningful, very important. Phenomena have their origin in causes. Tathagata teaches causes and cessations of them. The great sage teaches such doctrine. So in this doctrine, there are four noble truths. Dhamma. Dhamma means the truth of suffering. Hetu Bhava means Samudaya Satya, the cause of suffering, the origin of suffering. Hetu Bhava. Tesa Hetu. Hetu means Samudaya Satya, the cause of suffering. Tesinja Yo Niroda. Yo Niroda means Niroda Satya, the truth of cessation of suffering. Evanvadi Mahasamana, the great sage teachers. If they mention Niroda Satya, there is also Mega Satya. So number 3, the meaning of the doctrine. Can you follow me? Number 3a. The conditioned phenomena, mind and body, represent the truth of suffering, dukkha satya. That means ye Dhamma is which Dhamma, which phenomena, mind and body. Mind and body are what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you know, what you touch. All conditioned phenomena, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, are all dukkha. So he capture very well, he understand very well. Yogi need to understand. Ye Dhamma, so if you teach, you need to understand that Ye Dhamma means conditioned phenomena, mind and body. It is every seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and knowing. Everything is dukkha, truth of dukkha. And Hetu Bhava, this is what is the cause of this suffering? The cause of suffering, their causes is attachment, craving is the cause of suffering. Number 3b, can you follow me? Their causes. The attachment indicate the truth of the origin of suffering. Samudaya Satya. So when he talk, Hetu Bhava. So Upadesa capture very well. Hetu Bhava means Samudaya Satya, the cause of suffering is attachment or craving is the cause of suffering. And number 3c, can you follow me? Their cessation refers to the truth of the cessation of suffering, Nibbana, Niroda Satya. Tesinja Yo Niroda, if you talk and he Upadisa capture very well, that means Nibbana. Nibbana is cessation of suffering. He understand very well. At that moment, only within 1 second, he understand, he capture the meaning. And then number 3d, can you follow me? And inferentially, the path that leads to their cessation is the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. Mega Satya. So if you mention Nibbana and the cause of the cause of the path, the cause is Mega Satya. Without practice, without Mega, you cannot attain Nibbana. So it is all included, the path. So it is very short, but he captured very well. So by this verse, Venerable Asiji directly talk about only two truths. Hetu Bhava, that is Hetu Pabhava or Hetong, that means truth of the origin of suffering, Samudaya Sitya. Hetong or Hetu Pabhava is you understand that is cause. The cause is craving or attachment. And your Nirodha, your Nirodha means the truth of the cessation of suffering, Nirodha Sitya. So for common people, this verse seems to mean nothing special, nothing important, because they don't understand the meaning of this stanza. So they may wonder how this little verse could possibly enlighten Upadisa. After listening to this stanza, Upadisa became enlightened within 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Upadesa, the would-be Venerable Sariputra, this little verse was very meaningful and insightful enough for his spiritual attainment, because he was really wise, he was really intelligent, and in nature, wise people can see farther than what is actually shown. Such a wise individual can realize something clearly and comprehensively if he gets just a hint, whereas a dull or fool cannot even appreciate the comprehensive explanation. The late most venerable Mahasi Sayadaw have been teaching the practical exercise of Vipassana precisely and accurately. He wrote books on how to practice and what to experience from both practical and theoretical perspective, based on Pali texts and commentaries and sub-commentaries, very accurate. However, people do not understand. There are people who cannot appreciate such teaching. To them, these teachings seem to be trivial. They don't believe that the meditator would gain such and such Dhamma experience. Meditator gain Megaphala Nirvana if he or she practice in such a way. So they are those who have not been endowed with enough parami to understand the true Dhamma. So there is nothing we can do for them. Even Buddha cannot do anything to help them out. And Buddha said, I cannot help people who are wavering. Common people are like blind people under Buddhajana, whereas people endowed with the wisdom eyes can see Dhamma far and wide if it is showed just in brief. So in this world, in olden days or modern days alike, people think that a person exists in the same solid form throughout his or her life. So they don't realize that a person is just a causal manifestation of ever-changing Namarupa, ever-changing psychophysical phenomena. And many people think that a mother's womb is the origin of a human being. So they believe that a human comes into existence in the mother's womb and comes to an end on his or her demise. They believe that a human exists in a solid form only for a period between a womb and a tomb. People brought up by a religious family normally assume that a person is an individual who has transmigrated from a past life to this present life, which means the same person was reborn. They assume like this. On his or her demise, they believe he or she will transmigrate again to a new existence to be reborn again there. So he or she will be reborn again as someone somewhere. This means they believe there is a certain living entity that keeps moving from one existence to another. So there are two kinds of view. Belief in eternal soul that moves from life to life, that is Sasata deity. Another one is belief in the soul that exists only in the current life, Ocheda deity. So the annihilation view, Ocheda deity, is that a being comes to an end on his or her demise, whereas the eternal view, Sasada deity, is that a living entity transmigrates from one existence to another. These wrong views are not in line with the causality of Namarupa, causality of psychophysical phenomena, because they believe that a being is always the same solid individual instead of a causal manifestation. Delivering this short sermon as taught by the Buddha, Venerable Assaji directly captured that there were only cause and effect, but no soul that exists forever or for a limited period between womb and tomb. So the teaching is Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava. What that means? Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava. Ye Dhamma, that means every seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, every phenomena are presently arising. Every phenomena have hetu pabhava, they have their origin in causes. Now meditators are applying this teaching. Now you are hearing, you are seeing. Where does seeing have its origin? Where does seeing come from? So you as soon as you open your eyes, you have to know seeing. Now yogi are trying to find out what is the origin of seeing. So the instruction you need to follow very precisely. As soon as you note, you see, you have to know seeing. Where does seeing come from? Ye Dhamma hetu pabhava. That means seeing comes from Dhamma. You want to see, and seeing come here. Why seeing arises? Because of the craving or attachment. Ye Dhamma hetu pabhava. Seeing have their origin in causes. That is the attachment or craving. Now practically you are discovering the seeing. Seeing has its origin in the combination of eye sensitivity, your retina clear, and there is visible form, and you have attention, and then the light. So these first three factors are actually necessary condition for your seeing. You need to capture these three things. What is seeing? Note properly seeing. If you get short of any of them, you cannot see at all, or seeing cannot arise at all. So when these four conditions, eye sensitivity, your retina clear, visible form is there, attention is there, and the light is there, four conditions are met, seeing comes into existence. So seeing exists only at the moment of seeing, neither before nor after. So meditator captured the kinds of the moment of seeing. Now you hearing, where hearing come from? Also their origins are there, their sources are there. Note properly hearing. Hearing exists only at the moment of hearing, neither before nor after. Common people cannot understand this causality of Namarupa, mind and matter. They think that I am seeing. It's wrong. It is I who see. Wrong. Note properly seeing, hearing. In the ultimate sense, seeing or hearing is not an individual, but a certain kinds of mental phenomena that newly arises only at that very moment of seeing, hearing, but not ahead of that moment. And immediately afterwards, it disappears. You're very practical. As soon as hearing comes and you capture it, you accept it. Or every time I know they disappear, yes, we agree, very sure. Immediately seeing, it disappear. Immediately hearing, it disappear. So every moment of seeing, every moment of hearing is new seeing, new hearing, new smelling, new tasting, new touching, and new thinking. So they are phenomena that have their origin in the causes. So these are the causes. So page number 1, number 4, we have to, can you follow me? Due to an eye, there arises seeing, etc. Due to an eye sensitivity, there arises seeing. Due to a visible form, there arises seeing. Due to the attention, there arises seeing. Due to the light, there arises seeing. So where seeing come from? So that question you can answer very well. You capture it, note, seeing. But deeply is come from craving or desire is come from, and then other conditions are eye sensitivity, visible form, attention, and light. And then page number 2, number 5, Chakkunja, Padeja, Rupeja, Upajati, Chakkuvinyana. Can you follow me? Chakkunja, Rupeja, Upajati, Chakkuvinyanam. Based on an eye and visible forms, there arises seeing consciousness. So this is a summarized principle which can be elaborated by means of dependent origination. So when seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, when we not mindful, the paticca samuppada dependent origination we continue. So paticca samuppada we need to learn in brief. Open your book, page 107. Paticca samuppada, nuloma in due order of arising. If we do not mindful at the moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, the paticca samuppada will continue and we will suffer. Can you follow me? Avijja picca sankhara, sankhara picca vijnanam, vijnana picca namarupam, namarupa picca salayadanam, salayadana picca phaso, phasa picca vedanam, vedana picca tanha, tanha picca upadana, upadana picca bhava, bhava picca jati, jati picca jara maranam, soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavondi ewa metasa kevalasa dukkha khandasa samudaya hodi. We recite together. Aveja Vijaya Singara Singara Vijaya Vijnanam Vijnana Vijaya Namarupam Namarupa Vijaya Salayadanam Salayana Vijaya Paso Pasa Vijaya Vedana Vedana Vijaya Tanna Tanna Vijaya Upadana Upadana Vijaya Bhava Bhava Vijaya Jati Jati Vijaya Jara Maranam Soka Paridewa Dukkha Domana Supayasa Sambhavondi Ewa Metasa Kevalasa Dukkha Khandasa Samudaya Hodi. If we're not mindful at the moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and knowing, the Paticca Samuppada aura of arising, suffering will come again and again. So translation, can you follow me? Dependent on ignorance. Arise karmic volition. Dependent on karmic volition. Arises consciousness. Dependent on consciousness. Arise mind matter. Dependent on mind matter. Arise the six sense bases. Dependent on the six sense bases. Arises contact. Dependent on contact. Arises feeling. Dependent on feeling. Arises craving. Dependent on craving. Arises clinging. Dependent on clinging. Arises existence of life and volition. Dependent on existence of volition. Arises rebirth. Dependent on birth. Decay and death arise. And sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair can arise. Thus arises this whole mass of suffering. So very truth of suffering, if we practically don't note this at the moment of the phenomena occurring. So Chakunja Parija Rupeja Parija Upijati Sakuvinyana, based on eyes and visible form, there arises seeing consciousness. Now you have seen consciousness because you have eye sensitivity and the visible form, and then you have seen consciousness. So based on the eye sensitivity and visible object, there arises seeing consciousness, and your attention is not directly mentioned here, although it is certainly there. And the light is also a supportive condition for your seeing to take place. So based on these conditions, I visible form, attention, light, there arises seeing consciousness. So seeing is just a certain mental state, but not you, not me, nobody, or not a person, not a being, not a man, not a woman. If you are concurrently aware of seeing, as soon as you see, you know seeing, you can realize that seeing is just seeing, but not any person. Obviously, there is no seeing at all times. Seeing exists only at the moment of seeing, but neither before nor after. It exists, seeing exists only at that very moment of seeing. So Vipassana meditator can capture this seeing moment exactly. Non-meditator thinks he or she can see whatever he or she see at any time. And they believe it is I who have been seeing throughout his life or her life. Even meditators may have the same illusion before his or her inside knowledge is mature enough. So in reality, seeing and what is seen are vanishing moment by moment. Hearing is more clear. Hearing and the sounds are vanishing moment by moment. So Buddha said, Tena Sinkati Paso, the interaction of these three or the meeting of these three means the mental contact phasa. So when the three phenomena, eye sensitivity, visible form, and seeing consciousness meet, there arises a sensory contact. Now Parijassamuppada start to come. That is what called Salayadana. Salayana Vijaya Paso. So what are ayatana? How many kinds of ayatana? Salayana Vijaya Paso. Ayatana are 6 bases. Sakayana, Sotayana, Ganayana, Jivayana, Kayayana, and Manayana. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind are internal bases. How many bases of internal? 6. Eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And Beda Ramana, external bases are 6. Visible object, sound, smell, taste, touch, and the other subtle rupa, material properties, they are external bases. Now, Parijassamuppada, we have to start Salayana Vijaya Phasa. Why phasa arise? Why phassa contact arise? Because the ayatana meet together. Now eye sensitivity and visible form meet together and there arises seeing consciousness. And when the eye sensitivity, visible form and seeing consciousness meet together, and there comes phassa, contact. So we have to understand Paticcasamuppada when we practice meditation, and also very important whenever the ayana are striking, we need to be mindful, see, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing every ayana are met, we need to be mindful. So we will continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, by noting rising, falling, seeing, hearing, smelling, walking, standing, stretching, bending, continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.